Hey everyone, and welcome to the European Formula Racing League round 15 of 22 for the race session that has been rescheduled from last week coming back to this week, which is why we're not on with qualifying. We're just using the results that the guys had from last week. So as the grid is at the moment, let's just get a few stats up on quickly before we do get back to the starting grid as it is there right now. So they're currently on the formation lap getting around, and I think we're just going to leave a few things up in the meanwhile before they do actually get started with the race itself. So let's have a look on how the starting grid looks. So Ready Muse starting in P1 and Devil starting alongside him in second. We do have NJ starting third, Clemens starts fourth, Jerry qualified for fifth, Cuban starts sixth, we got Debbie Zach in seven, Gargamel in eighth, Cam in 9, we got Cap 10, Groot 11, Jurek was 12, Havlis 13, Escas was 14, Pauline 15, and Luki qualified 16 on the grid for that. So we're going to focus with the 16 drivers we do have for the session, and let's see how the race start does go. And it just will be about 27 laps around the track, so it should be quite an interesting one to watch. Also going to be a very long run down into turn 1, so let's see how well this one is about to go. I think we're going to focus on Devils for just a bit to see who's going to get a better start on the race here itself. Hopefully that leaderboard does not get mixed up again. They seem to get a bit of an even start going through, but Devils actually got a bit of a faster run and might actually get ahead of Enter going into turn 1. Let's see how that one goes, because Ready Muse falls all the way down to third. And currently it is Devils and Enter going side by side for the lead, as you have it. Enter somehow got up into the lead. I'm not sure what happened to Ready Muse on the start. Might have had just a bad start on that and maybe just got up the lane not too well. But as it is, he's down to third at the moment and still trying to fight it through with the two cars in front to get back in position, but really not having a good chance of that. Already in danger of losing third place as it is from Jerry and Cuban behind of him, because he seems to be having some sort of problem with the car. I'm not sure what's happening, but he's falling down the order. They're already down to fourth on the grid, and I think Cuban just had a bit of an incident down the back, almost lost the rear of the car, but he's still going and currently in sixth, just behind his team. It's now down to seventh, so some sort of incident did happen down the back. Let's see if we can have a look. Start has been pretty clean so far. Unfortunately, we did lose one car from that opening lap so far. After this, Cam is out of the race. I'm not sure what the incident he was involved with at the back, but something obviously did happen and he is out. Probably something around maybe with turn 1, I'm not sure, but either way he's out of the race, and that's with about 15 into fastest lap so far. So he has an excellent start, and you can see Ready Muse is into the pit, so it looks like he took some damage, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure. Trying to have a look, see if he's getting a wing change here, and did take some damage, and that's seems to be quite a weird I'm not sure what just happened there. I think we're just having a bit of a glitch on his side, because that is one strange one that we haven't seen happen before. It's probably a pit lane glitch, as his car is just showing off and just getting on again, so I'm not sure what's happening with him. Anyway, let's get tires on track, see what's happening with that. Alright, so Enter out in front and is still leading, gets a bit of a lead as well, about 1.9 seconds ahead of Devils. Cuban third right now, he's still falling out about 2 seconds behind, so top 3 at least having a bit of a gap going on them at the moment, and they're going to probably try to keep it that way to keep each other out of the DRS range as much as possible. Gargamel running in fourth, about 8 or 9 tenths behind, so he's keeping within that range. When DRS does come online on the next lap, hopefully that is going to help him try to get the podium position up in the race if he can. We'll see how well he works with that, but so far as it is, he's starting to lose that 1 second gap as we have it. Let's start to fall back just a bit more. Groot in fifth, trying to catch up as much as he can. I'm not sure what this gap is at the moment. That'll probably come online in just a bit as well, so we're going to keep an eye and see how that's going to work. But as we have it, both Haas running pretty well, third and fourth in a race, so they're not doing too bad so far. Racing Point have one car in P1 on his teammate currently in 6th there, that's correct. Not too bad. Both Mercedes running 7th and 8th as we have it. I think we're having a bit of a switch. Something's happening down at the back. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, because I saw quite a bit of switch happening. And Paul is off track a bit. He's trying to get back on track, I think. And he's out of the race, unfortunately, so something did happen. where that commotion was going on with the bit switch going on with the grid order itself. So I think that was a bit of an incident. Seems to have resulted in possibly a safety car. Yep, it did. Might be having a bit of a glitch happening as well, because I'm not able to see the safety car happen on top of the screen as it usually comes up. It's just showing on track, and the map itself showing yellow all around. Only possibly I could figure out that there was a safety car for that incident. So Paul is out, unfortunately. Not sure who it was involved with. I know he was running right next to his teammate here, Dan Clement, and with another car. So maybe a forced incident or just an unforeseen incident happened. But unfortunately, he's out. That Sue driver's out, leaves us with 14 already into lap 3 of 27. And this might just trigger a few pit stops in the race, just depending on what's happening. An NT race leader is already in, so is a few other drivers out in front. So definitely trying to probably switch their hearts to go all the way to the end of the race. From this point, maybe we're going to have a look and see what the strategy is going to be. It looks like NT is going on to the mediums. Is he possibly going to go to the end of the race on those? I think it might just be possible, because it is a 27 lap race. We're already going into lap 4. We're going to be under the safety car for another 2 laps. That gives us at least just about 20 to 22 laps to do on these tires, and I think they might just be able to pull that off with the way the race is going right now. And if a second safety car does happen later on, might just give them an opportunity to maybe go into a set of softs to go forward to the end. We'll see how that works for them. But right now we have Interiors back out on track, and he is running in 4th at the moment, about 10 seconds behind Gargamel. Of course, that gap is going to go away very quickly, because we're still following under safety car regulations. So they're going to all get a bunch of back before we do get back started with the race after the safety car goes in. Alright, so yep, we can see all the cars coming back down behind. Everyone's going to get back bunched up and follow back in a line once again to get the rolling start back going. I think at least by lap 6 we should get back restarted with the race and see what's happening. But for now, it's still going to follow under the safety car and see what exactly is going to be a situation with that. But yeah, a few pit stops did happen. Some of the cars decided to stay out. As we can see, the Devils did choose to stay out, and so did Cuban there. I'm not sure. Also, Gargamel stayed out as well, because there are only 3 laps on those tires. So, situation is going to become a bit different in the race itself. If those other drivers are going to push to the end on the mediums, they might be at a disadvantage when they do have to do that one mandatory pit stop, because I don't think there's going to be any rain in this session as it is. So, I think, at least for Cuban, I think he probably should have thought about taking a stop, but he got back up to second by not doing a pit stop on that safety car. But we'll see how well the strategy works, because this all just depends on whether the guys who took the stop and went on to the mediums are going to the end of the race on them, or if they're going to do one more stop. Of course, coming down close to the end, those tires are going to start to give just a bit. At least by the time we get to lap 24-25, they will start to feel the wear quite heavily on them, and the cars on the fresh tires should have a bit more of an advantage going to the end of the race. So we'll see how it works for those drivers in terms of the strategy as we're playing right now. But this is what usually tends to happen in terms of a strategy when a safety car happens, especially that early on in a race. And drivers do tend to think about doing a strategy that will take them to the end of the race, either going on to mediums or to the hards if necessary. But we'll see what happens. And it looks like Radimus is having some trouble getting back connected to his car. He might have been disconnected from that race start. I'm not sure. That would explain a lot in terms of what happened on that race start with him. He started P1 on the grid, lost 2 positions by the time he got around into turn 1, and then before the end of sector 2 already lost another 2 positions. And I'm not sure what's happening. I think we might be doing another restart. Let me just have a look, because it did seem to be quite glitchy in the lobby itself. And yep, we're gonna have to do another restart on the race, because quite a few drivers are having some glitch happening on their end as well. Okay, so just give us a few minutes. We're gonna get the lobby restarted and back going again. Anyway, let me just exit off of this one, as we won't need to be here. We'll just wait for a new invite and get onto the new lobby before getting back started. It should not take too long. Alright guys, welcome back to EFRL. Let me have a look. See, the formation lap is still on. Yep, it is. So let's have back a look at this once again. Hopefully not a glitch on this occasion as we get on through. Let's get a few stats up on screen before I do have a look at the grid order as it is there right now. Alright, so the starting grid as it is, we're going to go through back that once again because we might just clip a piece off of the video for the start for the glitch that we did have earlier on before getting started with the race itself. Actually, we got a glitch into the race. Alright, so Ready Meal starts P1 for the race, Devil starts second, NT will start third, got Clement starting fourth, Jerry starts fifth, we got Keeban starting sixth, Debbie in seventh, we got Gargamel in eighth, Cam in ninth, Cap 10th, and we got Groot in 11, Direct 12, Havlis 13, Escus 14, and Paul there in 15. I think I'm missing one from the previous grid order that we had, but either way I think that's going to be good enough to work with, at least for the race session. So let's see how the race start is going to go. We got a mixture of strategy between drivers from softs and medium, at least for the start. Top two drivers on the mediums, and then third and fourth on the softs, that's NT and Dan Clement. So we're going to see how well strategy is going to work for them. It's kind of a mix. And Jerry there on the medium. Then we got behind of that, we do have Cuban and Debisac on the soft as well. Gargamel, Cam, and Cap are working with the mediums, at least for the top 10. That's how it stands. Down at the back, we got at least 4 drivers in the bottom 5 starting on the soft. So going to be interesting to see what the race start is definitely going to look like. We're going to be having back a look at Ready Meals and Devils on the starting grid as it is and see who gets off the line better. And as I said, it's going to be quite a long run into turn 1, so just about anything could happen as we get on through with that. So we're going to try and keep an eye on most of the grid order if we can as we get on through turn 1, at least to see if we do have any major incidents happening on that opening lap, which hopefully should be clean enough to avoid that. Well, let's see if we're going to be losing anyone on this occasion as we're about to get back started here. Just waiting for everyone to get back sorted onto their grid slots before we do head on to the 5 red lights. Okay, so I think the leaderboard might get a mixed up, or we're just gonna have to ignore that at least for now. But let's see how that's gonna go. I'm gonna switch this back over to position changes to see what happens. A bit of an even start. Let's see if Devil gets ahead through the run down to third one. Ready Meal seems to be coming to the right side to block him off a bit, but Enter gets ahead. He gets away with the lead. Ready Meal still in second though, and Devil's running in third at the moment. Let's see how that is gonna work for them. Still about at least 2 to 3 cars trying to go through turn 1 and 2 here, and so far the grid order seems to be a bit to what it started with, but a few cars have gained a few positions going on through so far. But Enter getting an excellent start. He does get away with the lead, and we still do have down at the back, we got, I think, Devils and Cuban fighting it off there for third place. We got a car down at the back that's Cap off track a bit, I think, and he's getting back going, or not sure if that was him. So now have a look at the back of the grid, see what exactly is happening. So far so good, because everyone got away from the line pretty well. Maybe some minor incidents on the start itself, but either way it seems fine so far. Out in front, Enter gets an excellent lead, 1.5 seconds already, and it's not even the end of the final for the first lap. And Ready Meal is still running second. Devil's running behind him about 7 tenths, another 4 tenths behind is Cuban and Dan Clement. He has a bit of a gap to catch up with, 1.2 seconds. So at least for third and fourth, Devils and Cuban, they're still fighting it off just a bit, and Jerry is out of the rest. He's retired off. I think he might have had a bit of an incident. Yep, he definitely did. Trying to have a look down at the back, if you can have a look at where his car is on the side of the track. So he definitely had a bit of an incident with someone there, and that's a full safety car on the opening lap for that race, and we might have a few pit stops happening, which we can already see happening there right now, and it's going to put a pause on any current battles on track. So absolutely no overtaking until that safety car is over. So that's going to take us at least into lap 4 or 5 maybe before we do get back restarted after that there. So Debisac out of the race as well. He's probably retired of it, I'm not sure, because his car was still running when we did do a switch to it. and to just see what was happening with Jerry down at the back. So I think the two of them might have been involved in the incident that happened there. I'm not sure. But either way, both of them are out. That leaves us with 13 drivers for the remaining laps left in this race, and we're currently on lap 2 of 27. It's a pretty fast lap around the track here, but we're going to have to wait to get back restart to see how the battles are going to go. So I think we did have a few pit stops happen on that stop. So just about 2 stops actually. And that was both Racing Points taking a stop for some reason. Enter was out in the lead of the race and he's taking a stop. He's on to mediums to go to the end, and so is his teammate. So Racing Point seems to definitely be running some sort of strategy in terms of probably trying to get the mediums all the way to the end. I'm not sure. But it doesn't look like they plan to take another pit stop at this point here. So that's going to lap 2 with those mediums, and they're going to be running another lap or 2 under safety car regulations, which means they're not going to be under racing speed running. So those tires are not going to be wearing away on the next 2 laps as they would in the race itself. So that's going to save them a bit. By the time lap 4 we get back restarted, they need to do at least 23, maximum of 24 laps on those set of tires. I think about 23 laps I think they'll have to do on those set of mediums if they want to take it to the end, because they've done the 1 pit stop already, and it might just be what the strategy play is for a Racing Point at this point here, and they're going to be catching up to the rest of the safety car queue before we do get back restarted, which is going to help them. We already have NT catching back up here already to the back of Paulie's car. Direct is coming down the straight, and he should be able to catch up before the end of this current lap. So even if we're going to get back racing at the end of lap 3, he still will be able to catch up. But I think we might have, we're going to have to just wait and see what's going to happen with that. Fortunately for us, no glitch on this end. We can actually be able to see when a safety car is happening on track. So in the previous session, we were not getting that for some reason. Anyway, I think most of our cars are back up together again. Everyone's running just behind each other except for Direct. They're catching up in the grid. They're about 3.5 seconds behind, so that's enough time for him to work with. He'll catch up before the end of this current sector at least. I think I can see him coming down at the back there already. So let's have back a look at what position changes happen on that start. So 3 cars right where they started. That's Ready Mills in P1, Devils in 2nd, and Dan Clement in 4th so far. Cuban there gained 3 positions. Cap lost 5. We got Groot losing 5. We got Gargamel gained 1. So did Cam. Eskers gained 5. And Havelis gained 3. Paulie gained 4. Entier and Direct, the 2 cars who did stops. That's why they're down so much. And Entier lost 9 positions because he was up or somewhere about 3rd. I think is where he started. He gone up to the lead of the race and then took that stop during the safety car. And then Direct down there, he only lost 1 position because I think he started there in 12th. So it might be some sort of strategy for the 2 of them. Let's see what exactly they're planning to do here, because I'm not sure what that situation is going to be like. But everyone else on the grid will have to take a pit stop at some point in the race. And probably going to hope for a safety car in order to do that. We should probably put this on. We'll have DRS come online pretty soon by the time we get back to the restart, which is going to be on this current lap here, going into lap 4. And everyone's back caught up already, and we're going to see how the Racing Point boys are going to back. Are going to catch up with the rest of the grid as they're about to get back restarted here right now. Ready Mills leads them across the line, and Devils is going to follow along, trying to keep up as much as he can, but not a close enough gap to work with. He's going to have to just try probably on the next few laps, hoping with a DRS advantage to actually catch up to that Rhino, because a bit of a run down to turn 1. And Ready Mills had a good run, so still has about a 5/10 gap to work with, which is close enough at least to keep it at least for the DRS, which should be coming online soon enough. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid down at the back. We're already having purple sectors coming off. Cuban very close after Devils there for 2nd place in the race, so he's going to probably be trying to get that up position if he can. He still can see both cars in front of him pretty well to see what's happening. Down in the back in 6th, Cap and his teammate Groot, 5th and 6th right now are running. That's both Alfa Romeos, and have Cam behind them, at least about 3/10 behind. So they might want to be a bit careful about that, but I think he needs to be careful as well, because with teammates in front of him not going to give him an easy time at least to get by. We got the McLaren of Eskers trying to get past the Haas of Gargamel so far, but actually it's still a pretty close gap between most of the cars after the safety car restart, which it might just stay that way for a few more laps before they start to pull a gap on each other here. And I think on that run into turn 1 is where most of our overtaking might be happening. as might be the most powerful DRS zone we have. Gargamel goes quite a bit wide and now gets back on track. I'm not sure if he's trying to keep SS out of the slipstream from him. Doesn't want to give him a toe down into turn 1, which seems to be the situation there. Let's have a look at what Cam is trying to go with here. He's trying to keep ahead of Gargamel right now. And lost the position to Cam, or someone just lost the position, but he is quite a way down. I think he has some damage on the car here now. And definitely lost a chunk of the front wing on the right side. So has some significant damage. His team is still running up there in 5th, but he's not having the best of races at the moment. He's going to have to do a pit stop and get that taken care of. And that's going to be probably his one stop that he's going to take in the race, and then go to the end on whatever set of tires he does choose to go on next, which probably would be best probably to go on to the hards and just push it to the end, because I think he started right there on the mediums. So let's see how that strategy will work for him. Redemy is still running in the lead out front, with Devils and Cuban fighting it out behind, a second behind of him. And they have a much closer gap, because that's about 5 tenths between the two of them. Devils really trying to keep within the DRS range if he can. I'm not sure if he's able to, because it's over by at least a few hundredth of a second, and he's trying to get it on the right now. When I go back down to Escas here in 8th position, and DRS is now online for this current lap, coming lap 6, so that's going to be a bit of an advantage to most of our drivers. And let's see how well that is going to work for them. Cuban very close off behind, and he's going to try and get as good of a run as he can there right now, try to keep up. Turn 1 is a bit tricky getting around for some drivers, so they do have to be a bit careful not to lose time around here, because I do notice some of these drivers are losing time getting through that. And see, we do have Cap in the pits. He is getting that front wing taken care of and switching on to a set of soft tires, which just means probably he's going to do another stop in the race. So we'll see how that's going to work for him, but he does need to catch up quite significantly at this point here. He's losing a big gap, so maybe the soft tires might help him to actually do that. We're back out front right now with Cuban here chasing after Devils in the Red Bull. Has a pretty close gap out front, down behind Dan Clement about 1.7, 1.8 seconds behind. So he has some time to catch up. Let's see on the run going down to turn 1 what's going to happen in this case, because Devils will have DRS, Cuban will have DRS on him. So going to be a bit interesting to see how this is going to work out. And they do activate that, so let's see how close off they get to each other down in that run. And Devil seems to be getting pretty close, trying to pull alongside the Renault, but actually not thinking about it too much. Doesn't want to risk it at this point. Might be just setting himself up and probably to do it on the next lap coming around. Of course, he needs to be a bit worried, because Cuban is on the rear of his car, trying to get around the outside right now for 2nd place, and that's going to be putting him down to 3rd and making him lose out on that battle. He still has the inside pushing on through, and he does get ahead into 2nd place, so that's the Red Bull down to 3rd. Clem is still about a second behind all of this commotion coming. And he's going to try to get up as much as he can. He's now within DRS range of the Red Bull down behind, as you can see him coming down there. So he's going to try to get up into 3rd place if he can right now, and hopefully keep himself in a podium position if he can at the moment, because his teammate Paulie is down in 12th, not running in the best possible position at the moment. So he needs to get as much points for Mercedes right now as he can. And Devils here seems to be the only Red Bull running in this race today, so he is going to want to keep all the points that he's having there right now as having 3rd place. He's going to want to try to get back 2nd if he can, but he seems to be losing some time. He's already about 8 tenths behind Cuban and still following on. Dan Clement though about 6 tenths behind, and he's trying to catch up as much as he can. We're going to have a good run through the DRS straight here. Let's see how much that actually is going to help. As you can see, everyone pulling to the sides and trying to keep the car behind out of their slipstream, because that does become quite powerful and help to actually get them ahead and actually close the gap to get an overtake done. So let's see how close he actually got. Out in front, Cuban is trying to catch up as much as he can to Redemy for the lead. Gap is about 8 tenths, same as what it is between Devils and Cuban themselves. 5 tenths more to Clement down behind. Groot still a bit of a gap to catch up with. And down in the back, Paulie trying to get ahead of Jirag there. Now, Racing Point did an interesting strategy on the 4 safety car in the opening lap. They did a stop, went onto the mediums, which possibly I think they're trying to go to the end. And they were running all the way down at the back of the grid in 12 and 13 there after those incidents happened. So now they're up to 9th and 11th as we have it. We already had Jarek trying to get past Havlis for 10th place, trying to follow his teammate up. NT had an excellent start, if you don't, and then he took that pit stop. So let's see how much further he's going to work his way up the field, which I think he just missed a bit of an incident happen. Someone's off track, and that is the Haas of possibly Kip. It is Cuban, and he's out of the race. He's retired off of the session. I'm actually very tired of it. Just the car just actually just DNF right there by the time he got into the wall. Trying to have a look at that if we can, which I don't think we will. So let's just put that on pause for now. Now this safety car might be a good opportunity for the rest of the group to take a stop and actually get a new set of tires on to go to the end of the race. We'll see what the strategy play will be. I think the guys are trying to figure out what's the situation with the safety car, because it's running behind, I think behind Cam there right now, so they probably have to go all the way back around and then follow on behind of it, but they do have to keep their delta positive as they drive around the track still, because we're under safety car regulation and going around. Alright, so we do have quite a few pit stops happening at this point here right now, except for the top 3 cars. That's Ready Muse Devils and Cam there. They did not get to do a stop. I think they were already past the pit entrance by the time that incident actually happened, going down to turn 1, so they had to actually just continue on with the race that they have. And Cap seems to be doing another pit stop, probably going to join the rest of the grid and whatever strategy they're running. So let's see how that's going to work out. So I think majority of our cars going on to the medium. Some guy, we'll see, Gargamel went on to the hards, Hoblis went on to the softs, and we're on lap 9, so going to be a bit of an interesting player strategy to see how this works out. Paulie goes to the hards, and so does Cap. Of course, now we can see how well our strategy worked out for Racing Point, because NT is up to 4, Jarek is up to 5th, and they've already done a stop from the first safety car in the opening lap of the race, and they've done about 6 laps so far on these set of tires. So will they possibly be able to push those tires all the way to the end? We're going to see how that works for them, because it's going to be a bit of a close call. But if a third safety car happens in the race later on, which is going to probably force everyone to do another stop, they will get an extra stop. Muse Devils and Cam have not taken a pit stop, and they will have to take a mandatory pit stop at some point in the race, which is going to put both Racing Points running P1 and P2. And that's going to be very interesting to see if they're actually able to finish the race in that position, because it would have meant that the strategy worked quite well for them at this point here. So not too bad seeing them running 4th and 5th, and I think they're quite happy with the strategy they chose. Let's see if it works out going to the end of the race, though. Anything can happen in this race session. We're on lap 10 of 27. Probably going to be getting back racing at the end of lap 11 maybe. We'll see how that's going to work, because we're still following under the safety car going on through. But this is going to come down to be very, very interesting to see if that strategy from Racing Point is going to work and take them to the end of the race on the mediums itself. Had they gone onto the hards, I would say definitely they're going to the end, but I think they went onto the mediums to just have enough pace going through the race, just to make sure they make it. If they do need to take another pit stop, maybe around lap 20 for another safety car, or lap 18 even, they can go to the softs and go to the end of the race. That's provided the rest of the grid will take a stop behind of them after they go up into the lead. So very interesting strategy coming off of that team there. Gonna see how it works out for them. Top 3 cars, bit of a disadvantage they are at right now, because at the end of this safety car, they're going to be coming down to needing to do a pit stop in a few laps time. Probably another 5 laps or so before they will have to do a stop, and either way they're going to lose quite a few positions going down the order. That's going to put Racing Point P1, P2, Dan Clement going up to P3. He's on the fresh hard tires, so he's going to be looking good for a podium position here. Gargamel running in, going to be up in 4th after that. That will put Eskers up in the 5th, Paulie into 6th, Route 7, Havlis 8th, and Cap into 9th. But it does depend where the top 3 cars come back out after they take their pit stop. But Cap, they're running about 40 seconds behind, so he still has a gap to work with. Now we're currently into lap 11 of the race, and I think this is a point where the safety car is going to go back in. I think we have what's one car. Cap is the only car not back behind the safety car queue as yet. He still has a way to go, but I think he does have to keep his delta positive still, so gonna have a bit of a difficult time getting around the track and trying to catch up before this race does get restarted again. So everyone does have back their close gap as it is. DRS will be online back after the race does get restarted, but still just waiting to see what strategy is being going on. Well, what strategy exactly Racing Point is playing at. Are they going to do another stop or not? Because it's going to be quite close for those stars to go to the end, but they've done at least 4 laps, 2 laps under the 4 safety car, another 3 laps or so under this safety car. That's actually saving their tires quite a bit and will allow them to push a bit forward more into the race here with the tires itself. So they're having that bit of advantage, and very interested to see how that's working out, if it's going to be able to take those tires to the end, which I think it might, just might. It's going to be a bit unfortunate though for Ready Mills Devils and Cam. They will have to do a stop. They're going to lose out on P1, 2, and 3. They're going to have to try and catch back up as much as they can. So let's see how much further they're going to push their tires before they do a pit stop. They can just push it out quite a way more. They don't have to do a pit stop anytime soon. They might just wait to see if there's going to be another safety car or not, and then probably do it then. But as we have it, we got 12 cars currently left in the race. Bit of an interesting strategy being run. And everyone behind the top 3 have done at least 1 pit stop so far in the race. So they're all good to go to the end if needed, which I think is what the strategy is for everyone from Clement all the way down. Entier and Jurek were still a bit unsure about if they're pushing to go to the end on those set of tires, and they've done 8 laps on them, so they just might. But we're going to see how that's going to go with them. And looks like we're still going 1 more lap under the safety car. Yep, definitely we are. That is probably a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Why is he in the pit lane? Took a bit of damage. Did he switch front wings? I'm not sure. Either way, the both of them are getting back out. Alright, so let's see what's happening back out on track here. I think everyone's getting a bit anxious right now. Quite interested in getting the race back restarted. So that's quite a number of laps done now for those 2 Racing Point drivers under the safety car itself, saving them a bit on the tires. So really interested to see how well they're going to handle the rest of the race going on through. We got at least about 15 more laps to go. So let's see if they can actually push it another 15 laps, make it about 23, 24 laps total on those mediums, which definitely we've seen this situation being done before, and definitely possible to pull off that amount of laps. Of course, they have to maintain the tires just a bit and not overly push on them, and just make sure they make it to the end of the race. So they're probably going to be hoping for something to happen for them to be able to do another stop at some point, maybe later on in, but we'll see how that works out. But so far as we have it, I think everyone's gotten up. Cap is up to 10th, Gargamel running and behind of him. So I think the entire safety car queue is all lined up and ready to go here right now. So that extra lap under the safety car did give Cap time to catch up and get into the queue himself, and safety car is already going away, so we're about to get back restarted. Everyone's going to start to weave around the track just a bit, keep the tires warm as much as they can. And it's going to be Ready Muse leading the grid across the line to get back restarted here. So it just all depends on when he is ready to go. So they're just going to have to keep an eye on him and see when he does start to get moving. Of course, no overtaking until they get across the line. And I think he's gotten going there already. Entier already looking to get by Cam down on the run into turn 1, and looks like he's going to get it done because he's probably trying to pull alongside him and might get him into the braking zone of turn 1. Let's see, we're actually just holding it back for right now. I don't think he wants to risk the position, so for now at least he's going to just hold it back into 4th. Direct still following him, they're about 6/10 behind. So both Racing Points still running pretty well. I think Enter definitely looking to get that position up very quickly though, not wasting any time right now. Still looking for a pretty clean gap to work with, not able to get it over with as yet. We can see down at the back some close gaps still forming there, and over 3 of Dix might be happening down at the back with Groot, Cap, and Gargamel possibly there. We'll see what's going to happen with that, but let's see if Enter is able to get by Cam on this one before this lap is over. Currently on lap 13 of 27, just around the halfway point of the race itself. And he's using the slipstream quite well, but he's just keeping his car there in fourth. I think he's looking for a good opportunity to safely get that overtake done with. He doesn't want to risk it. He might just be waiting for get around back into lap 14 for the run down into turn 1 to try and get it done there. And Devil's trying to pull alongside as well for Readiness to try to get away the lead if he can. Doesn't look like he's getting that position up as yet, but he might get him going down here. Let's have a look if he's going to have a good go on the slipstream, which is what is happening down the back here as well. So a bit of a close gap. As you can see, the Red Bull pulling along to the side, but I don't think he's able to get that overtake done as yet. You'll have to wait just a bit more. I'll probably set his car up just a bit more for that. But Readiness and Devils will have to decide when to do their pit stop. I think they're going to be watching on each other out there. They might all be watching Readiness out front to see when the Renault decides to pit, and they might just follow him in just to keep the order as it is. So both Racing Points still running very close up behind each other. Going back down to Groot at the back here, see what's happening with him, because he's about 2 or 3 tenths behind Havlis in the AlphaTauri right now, chasing him down for that position. It's quite a close gap he's working with. Not able to break down a bit further as yet, so a bit of a train of the cars going on through still, so a bit of a DRS range as well between everyone. Seems to be within a second of each other as we have it. Havlis trying to get past the McLaren of Esser's in front of him. You can see NT trying to close back the gap once again out in front. We'll see if he's able to do that. Has quite a number of laps left in the race to do it. That is Havlis getting off track just a bit. And he is about to make the move on. Havlis is about to lose that there if Groot gets by. So Groot does have the inside going around, and looks like he gets the position up quite easily. DRS is now online. That's going to help. That's a split between Alfa Romeos right now. And he's still side by side right now with Cap down to 10th back as it is. Trying to have a look out front, see what's going to happen. That DRS is definitely going to change things up in front, but then Taylor having a bit more of an advantage trying to get the overtake done. And Gargamel about 2 tenths behind here, so let's see how he's going with that. Down back in front, following on with Interior. He has a very close gap right now, and definitely looking to get by on the inside. Devil's looking as well to get an overtake down out front. They do go side by side through that turn, and looks like it is the Racing Point of Enter getting up in the third place. He does finally have that podium position. Of course, his teammate Jirek coming just behind there, about another 3 tenths behind, looking to get the overtake done as well. So Cam definitely under a lot of pressure to keep that position. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it, because quite a few cars coming close by behind. Jirek and Clement about 2 tenths off of each other, and there goes the next Racing Point alongside him. And he might actually get that done before they actually got done before they got into the turn, just to make sure they can keep the cars as stable as possible. So that's both Racing Points up a position, 3rd and 4th on the grid so far. Cam is now down to 5th, and he's been split away from the top 2. So let's see if he does do a pit stop without waiting on them in front. Now out in front, Interior has about and there goes Devils into the pits. So that is Interior and Jirek, 2nd and 3rd up on the grid there right now as they're running. Radim is still leading the race out front by about 9/10, so he's losing time already to Interior. And I don't know, he has some significant pace since the start of this race, so he's catching up very quickly. Definitely be looking to take away the lead very soon. So Radim might be thinking about doing a pit stop on this current lap, as he has 15 laps on those tires though. So what he knows, he has to do at least one stop. Let's see how much further he's going to push it on through. Cam as well went into the pits. They're both going onto the soft tires. They're probably going to go to the end of the race on that at this point. But they've fallen down all the way to the back of the grid, which is what we're afraid to have happening when they do decide to take the stop, because everyone's still running so close off together, and no room really for them to come out in the middle of the grid. See what's happening down in the midfield here right now. So quite a close gap between these 3 cars. Cap and Esker there, and I think Paulie as well. He's trying to get by McLaren if he can, and he's going to push this on the inside. I don't think he's actually gave it up just a bit there, just to give enough room. So I'm going to keep it at least that way. Going out in front, Interior is losing some time, 1.6 seconds behind right now of Rating News there, so I'm not sure what's happening with that gap, but it's gone away from him just a bit, and he's going to try to get back up if he can. He's still going to get away with the lead once Rating News decides to do a pit stop, because he does have to do a mandatory stop before the end of the race and use 2 different set of tires for the dry, because we don't have any rain in sight at this point here right now. Go back out front with Gargamel right now, trying to get the move done on Dan Clement, and pulls it onto the inside, and that's the Mercedes down to 5th. Gargamel moves up into 4th place so far in the race. Not a bad overtake going into turn 1. Out in front, we do have some gaps building for some reason. 1.4 seconds right now between another 1.5 seconds behind. Probably spacing off the racing points a bit, but why is Enter falling back from Ready Muse right now? Is he going to do another stop as well? Because if he does, his teammate probably will have to do a stop as well, unless they're able to do another 10 laps on those set of tires that they have on there. So it's going to be a tough call on this one. We'll see how well they actually manage with it. Just noticing the gap between Havlis and Clement is closing quite a bit as well. About 4/10 between them. I'm going to go on board with Havlis, see how close he's actually able to get. Doesn't really have any ERS left to use, so it's going to be depending on the DRS advantage that he does get. So one Mercedes in 5th, one in 9th as we have it. The only Red Bull running and down to 10th on soft tires to go to the end of the race. So let's see how much further he's able to push. We do have someone going in the pits there right now, and that is Direct taking his second pit stop. His teammates still running out. They're not double stacking the racing points in the pits, and he's going onto the soft tires to go on to the end of the race. He's going to come back out just behind Devils and possibly behind Cam. Yep, he's going to come back behind Cam to run for the remainder of the race here, but the rest of the cars in front of them have not done that amount of laps on the tires, so they should be able to go to the end of the race. That's speaking for Gargamel in 3rd, going all the way down to Cap there in 8th. They should be able to go to the end of the race, another 10 laps on those set of tires that they have, especially for those who have done 5 laps, because we've seen these guys done quite a number of laps. You can see Ready Muse has done 17 laps on his set of tires. If he does, well, I think at this point they should be able to do at least 17, 18, 19 laps probably on the set of mediums that they're running. So that's going to take the rest of the grid to the end of the race on the set of mediums they're on. Of course, N-Tier here looks like he's going to have to do another stop, and Ready Muse will have to do his stop as well. So it just depends on how much of a gap Ready Muse is pulling right now, and that gap is about 2.5 seconds. That's going to help him out. And he is now into the pits. So is N-Tier, has followed him in. So both of them have decided to do their pit stops at this point here right now. So let's see where that brings them back out. The strategy has not worked too bad out for Ready Muse though, because he's now going to get back out to the pits on fresh soft tires. N-Tier coming up behind of him. Let's see where they end up on the grid though, because Devils might just get back ahead, and looks like he does. So Devils goes up into 6th. That puts Gargamel into the lead of the race here right now. Clement running 2nd. Havlis running 3rd for top 3. Gargamel does have a penalty, I think probably a 3-second, but we'll have a look at that. SS running 4th. Paulie in 5th. Devils now run 6th. And Cap came back in between him and Cam now to 7th. So Cam down to 8th. Ready Muse comes back in 9th. N-Team now runs 10th with his teammate 11th. And Groot there in 12th. So the strategy has not worked as well as they expected. Possibly the Hearts could have taken them to the end. I'm not sure about that. Would have been a tough call on it, and they would have lost some pace in doing that. So maybe would have been a better strategy to go onto that if they had planned to go to the end of the race. But of course, with cars being on faster tires around you, especially with safety cars happening, they do have to account for that. And that is Cam and Cap going side by side. That's the Williams of Cam up into 7th. Cap is down to 8th, still following on behind. Out in front, a bit of a gap between a few cars as we have it. Paulie and Eska switching positions here. And the Mercedes goes wide. That is still going back into 4th. He's going to try to get on a bit of the run down to turn 1 to see if that's working. Let's have a look at penalties of where they're at. So it's a 5-second penalty right now for Gargamel, which is going to cost him at least 2 positions at this point, with the way we can see things is. And that's going to put Clement up into the lead if that does happen, but he needs to extend his gap at this point. It's about at least 3 point something seconds at least right now. So 5-second gap will definitely put him down to 3rd. That's going to be Clement in P1 taking the win, and Havlis in 2nd. Because we're on lap 20 right now, so he needs to be a bit careful about that. Of course, Paulie there, his teammate has a 5-second penalty. So Clement can possibly get the win, but his teammate will be losing a position or 2 because of that penalty. Possibly just 1 position, because Cam has a penalty as well. But we'll see how this is going to work out. But Paulie trying to get up another position up into 4th ahead of the McLaren. It looks like he might just get that done. So far so good for him. He does actually get it done. So Gargamel has 7 laps on his tires. Clement has done 10. Needs to do another 7 laps to finish off the race here at this point if he does want to keep that position. So it's going to be a tough call for him. 2.1 seconds is what the gap is, and it's starting to increase a bit. Havlis another 1.2 seconds behind, not in his DRS range, so that might actually help him out just a bit. We're currently following on with the McLaren of Escos right now. You can see Paulie swinging around the track in front. He's trying to keep him out of the slipstream, but not working too well. The DRS advantage does help, and he gets back to position once again before they actually get into turn 1. So not a bad overtake there. That DRS zone through the sector 1, it's actually pretty powerful to get the cars ahead with a lot of more pace just to get an overtake done. So does help out a lot. Paulie is going to try to get back to position if he can as they continue on here in lap 21 at the moment. Gargamel still leads this race with a 5-second penalty right now in a position to lose that race win. He might get across the line P1, but he definitely will lose the win if he's not able to extend this gap more than 5 seconds away from Dan Clement at this point. He's up to 2.8 seconds. He seems to be increasing it just a bit, but not at a fast enough rate to actually get that done. Another 1.3 seconds behind is Havlis, and there goes the Mercedes of Paulie once again getting an overtake done, trying to get it actually on the McLaren of Escos there. They do have a Red Bull of Devils coming just behind them on fresh soft tires. Need to be a bit careful about that right now because they keep doing a switch, but they're losing time every time they do this, and the Red Bull has caught up. Devils is going to try to get by the Mercedes right now. He's down side by side and already gets by up into 5th right now. Going to chase after the McLaren and possibly get him down the run into turn 1 because he's going to have the DRS advantage, and yep, he is going to get that position quite easily up into P4 right now. So that's 2 positions up in 1 sector of the track. Not a bad overtake for him. So the soft tires are working pretty well for him to catch up. Not so much with the rest of the grid that were behind of him before they all took a pit stop, went onto the soft tires there. So the rest of the grid is trying to figure themselves out still as we have it. NT running at 8. Racing Point strategy has split up and not working what they expected it to. Out in front, Dan Clement seems to be losing some time right now to Gargamel, who's now only is actually up to 3.2 seconds, so he's getting the gap going, and the penalty is still 5 seconds, but it is, so he needs to make sure he gets a 5-second plus a gap between himself and Dan Clement. Clement needs to keep the gap under 5 seconds if he wants to keep the race win, and we got just about 5.5 more laps left to go, so he needs to keep this up for that amount of time more if he really wants to get that race win for the Italian Grand Prix, and not going to be easy one to pull off at this point because Gargamel is pulling off a gap right now, and he is on a bit fresher tires at the moment as well. Now 10 laps done on his tires. Clement is going to be doing about 13 laps on his at the end of that lap there, which he has did. So it's a 3-lap difference between tire life on both of them. Let's see how well that's going to work, because it looks like Gargamel might be trying to pull a gap at least to get 2nd place even if he does lose the race win. But whatever he's doing pretty well out front because he's now up to 3.9. Yeah, he's up to 3.9 seconds as it is. Havlis is catching up to Clement by a significant gap, trying to get it under a second, which he just did. So he's trying to get into the DRS range. Entier and Ready Muse pretty close up side by side is him and Escos right now. So that's Entier up to 6. So the soft tire is working well for him as well. He's trying to gain as much positions as he can before the end of the race. Ready Muse is up to 7. Escos is down to 8 right now. Those born off mediums are starting to go a bit on him there, I assume. But the fresh soft tires on those cars are working pretty well. Obviously going to have a lot more pace as they go on through the race. And some pretty close gaps. Cam has now lost a position. That's the Williams down to 6. And Racing Point moves up into 5th right now. He's Steven not having the best of luck down at the back in 10th. But Enter pushing as much as he can to get quite a few positions up. He's now 2.4 seconds behind Devils. Of course, Devils running on fresh soft tires as well. About 3 laps older, but still fresh enough to keep himself ahead. And looks like Cam is about to lose another position down that straight because the Renault of Ready Muse is about to get by, using the slipstream as much as he can, and definitely will try to pull ahead. Entier a bit in his way here right now, and is possibly going to make Cam get another position up if he's not careful there. So Ready Mills has been a bit blocked off there and trying to get that overtake done. I don't think he's going to be too happy about that, but he's going to keep trying at it, and I think he does have the pace on those soft tires to actually get it done, so he should be able to get that position up before the end of lap 24. Out in front, gap is now up to 4.2 seconds, and Clement is going to kick himself on this one if he doesn't get the race win at this point here. Coming quite close down, another 7/10, and Gargamel keeps the race win from him at this point. And tires are starting probably to wear off just a bit on Clement, which is why he's losing some time. He's fighting right now. He's back down to 4.1, so about losing and gaining about a tenth or two as they continue on through. They're fighting it to keep that gap as what it is, and Clement is really going to try to keep it as much as he can. He has about a second more to keep it to avoid losing the position. Gargamel is fighting as much as he can. He got it up from 2.2 seconds all the way to 4.1, and might want to just go for another 8 or 9 tenths just to get it ahead, which is what he's trying to do. But how much is he able to push on through? Because we're into lap 25 at this point here right now. 2.5 laps left to go, and the gap is up 4.4 seconds. We're trying to keep an eye mostly on that as we go on through the rest of the race. Down with Paulie there in 9th, see what's happening with that, because he's trying to get a move done on Escas in the McLaren for 8th position. Ready Mills trying to get up another position on someone else, I think, there as well. Let's have a look on that. He's trying to get past Cam still. Hasn't gotten that move done. We're still keeping an eye out front to see what's happening with the race win situation itself. Still a 5-second penalty for Gargamel, and Clement now 4.5 seconds behind, 4.6, about 4 tenths more, and he does lose that race win that he's supposed to, well, hoping to be getting here right now. This will only, if it does stay this way, it's only going to put Gargamel down 1 position. Still will be on the podium either way, but I think he wants to keep the race win. He's fought quite well to keep the gap at what it is there right now and push it on through for that. He's built it quite well in the past few laps, up to 4.4, 4.5 seconds, an average of what it is right now. And he's still pushing as much as he can to try to keep it there. Of course, Clement is, I don't know, giving everything in that car to keep that gap at what it is. Lap 26 of 27, so just under 2 laps left and not a lot of time to work with. Ready Mills in the Renault might actually get this overtake done on this lap here. Yep, does get it done. Has enough of pace with the DRS and uses whatever ERS he had left in that car just to get another position up, and he's now up behind Entier, up to 6th position, so I think he might be looking to finish the race in that position there as it is. So those tires on Clement's car starting to go just a bit. 4.7 seconds is what the gap is. Needs to keep it with that 3 tenths more to go, and really going to be a bit difficult as well. We'll see if he's able to work that through. Now 4.8, and he is coming down very close to losing a possible race win here for the Italian Grand Prix. If he loses that and the gap is 5 seconds and over, he needs to bring it back down. He has about a lap and a half more left to do it, and he seems to be struggling. Let's have a look on board with him and see what's happening here right now. He's running with a bit of clear air in front of him, with the gap being about close to 5 seconds. He just needs to avoid making any possible mistake and make sure he doesn't get a single penalty in the race if he does want to keep that win. Down back to 4.8 seconds, and he's going to push it on through to the end. And we're about to enter into the final lap of the race, and this is coming down very close. I mean, literally 2 tenths is what the gap is between P1 and P2 for the win at the point is what it is right now. Because either way, Gargamel is going across that line P1, but Clement might be able to take away the win if he brings the gap back down below 5 seconds before they get across the line. So let's see how that works out for him. Devils here looks like he's going to be taking away podium position away from Havlis with a 3-second penalty that Havlis has, and the penalties down the order will work itself out, with a few drivers might be losing positions. Ready Mills might be gaining a position off of Entier with only a 3-second penalty if things stay the way they are. Cam will finish right there, possibly Escas there, and Paulie should finish right there, as well as Jurek and Cap is. Let's see how this is going to work out. So on board right now with Dan Clement here, 5.1 seconds, and he needs to push as much as he can, gain at least 3 tenths more before they finish off this lap. And it's now another 3 to 4 tenths as it keeps going up. Needs to get a gap down under before he crosses the line at this point here. And doesn't look like he might be able to get this unless, of course, Gargamel makes some sort of mistake out front. Has fought it quite well though. to try and get a gap below and try to get away with that race win, but unfortunately not able to. We do have Garkman coming around the final turn right now, that Parabolica, and about to go across the line and will take the win for the Italian Grand Prix, but might be still losing it. Nope, actually no, not going to lose it. 5.6 seconds, quite enough of a gap for him to keep it. So Clement still takes his second place, unfortunately not able to take the win. Devil moves up into third, Havel is down to fourth because of a penalty. Radimus will take fifth on that one there, and Enter moves down to 6 because of his 6-second penalty. Cam takes 7. Eskers will have to take 8. Paulie there will take 9th. And looks like Jurek will take 10th. And Cap will take 11th as they have it there right now. So we're going to have to wait at least for these two to get across the line. But quite an interesting finish for that one there. That came down very close. At least about 3 to 4 tenths between the two of them for the race win itself. And just goes to show how closely these guys do race. So I'm not sure who had driver on the day of that one. Didn't really pay attention to that. And let's see what that possibility is. Somewhere around with Havel is there, possibly getting driver of the day. Let's see if he does actually get that or not. Alright, so that's the end of it. And let's see if it does show who actually got driver of the day on this one. Yep, Havlis did get driver of the day, gained the most positions in the race. I think gained about 9 positions from the start to where he finished on the grid. Alright, we're going to have one last look at the results before ending off the session. Alright, so quite an interesting race from EFRL. Gargamel takes the win for the Italian Grand Prix, and Dan Clement comes in second on the grid, at very close at almost getting that race win. Devils there finishes third on the grid. Havlis down to fourth and gets driver of the day as well. He did lose out on a podium position there because of penalties, and Redimus finishes fifth. And then we got Enter finishing 6th. He lost a position to Ready Mills because of penalties as well. Cam there 7, Eskers 8, Paulie in 9th, and Jurek finishes 10th and does get fastest lap in the race. Cap finishes 11th, Groot in 12, Cuban 13, Debbie Zach 14, Jerry there in 15 as it is. And that's the end of this session, at least for the Italian Grand Prix. Next week we should have round 16 for the Singapore Grand Prix, so join us back then again for that one there.